All right, Molly.
That's
You want me to hit the movies with Mark?
Oh, heck yeah. Do it.
Hit it, yeah. Hit it.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Movies with Mark.
Oh, there you go. Putting your finger on the record again. I thought we were getting a new theme song.
Yeah, he says that every week. I think it's a bit they're doing.
No,
Yeah.
it's not a bit.
It's coming.
It's coming?
Yep.
All right.
Are you having it composed?
Mal?
A friend of mine wrote a song. I'm officiating at a wedding. Did I tell you that?
No. Congratulations.
I am now an official minister of the Universal Life Church, and I'm going to marry my good friend Chloe Napolitano in Columbus, Ohio in August.
Nice.
And she doesn't want to
Say
talk
her
about
name
it.
one more time. That's beautiful. Chloe
Napolitano, and so is she.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's very, very poetic, her name. It's very Italian.
Yeah, it's very Italian. She's very Italian. She's great.
Nice.
She's a dancer, beautiful dancer.
She's got to keep the name.
Yeah, she's got to keep that.
Well, I want to talk to her about that. I want to talk to her about all the kind of stuff that the guy who's officiating at the marriage has to know and say, and she doesn't want to talk about it. She's in denial. She's getting married, very happy about getting married, very happy that I agreed to get to marry them and come back and marry them. But she doesn't want to talk about those things that, I've got to talk. I've got to stand in front of a bunch of people and say, so here we are. You're going to get married. So nice. I don't know that I'll do it in a Jewish accent, but probably not. I might throw a little of that in. What?
Hey, why not? It's a
If you guys now, so if you guys decide to get married, Tom,
Yeah,
or Molly, I'll come back and marry you.
That's
Yes.
wonderful.
All right.
Yes.
Woo!
That's great.
We're taking you up on that.
Indeed.
And if you decide to breed, I can baptize your kids too.
All right.
I can do it. I have a little card that says clergy. I can pin it on my jacket.
Clients get a court order vasectomy at 12.
We don't want the Fourth Reich coming back.
Ball of Fire. That's the film for this week, right? Ball of Fire. And I dare you to try to come up with a better cast of characters. And that, I mean, cast the crew, and Billy Wilder wrote the script. Howard Hawks directed it. Gary Cooper, Barbara Stanwyck, all the great character actors, really strange, eccentric, wonderful character actors in Hollywood are in it.
The Garbage Man was another eccentric character. He was great. I loved him.
Oh, I loved him. He's great. Yeah, and he
Garbage
comes
Men
in
back
just
in
at
the
the
day
right
just-
time.
Back in the day, did garbage men just come in the house?
And start up a conversation.
Well, she told him to get out. It was great. I loved his character. He was like my favorite thing in the movie. The Garbage Man.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
my
it
grandpa
is-
was a garbage man, so I liked it too. He was the driver, and he used to bring all kinds of crap home and do all these pranks and stuff. So I was just like, my gramps is the dick that would just go in some guy's house and start asking them trivia questions while they're honking outside.
Well, that's what you guys missed back in the 50s, the 40s, the 50s. The postman walked in, the milkman in my grandfather's house,
Yep.
where I spent summers, the milk was delivered to your back door by a horse-drawn thing that he came up and
That's
he'd get out.
Americana,
We'd talk to
baby.
him for a while. Huh?
That's Americana.
It's America, man. Yeah, it's great. It's Frank Capra. It's America. It's
My dad just told me a story that he had his first shower at Noah's Ark in 1963.
Yeah. I didn't realize they didn't have showers till that recently.
Wait a minute. Say that. Who had his first shower in 1966?
63 at Noah's Ark. He had to go to the water park
to take a shower.
to experience his first shower.
Who did?
My dad, when he was like 11.
Oh, really?
I'm like, what the heck? I didn't know showers were that new.
I didn't either. How old's your dad?
I didn't know they were that new in
Right.
this country. I knew in England. In England, I was in England in 1976 doing a picture, and they had something that they thought was a shower, but it wasn't really a shower in the hotel, in Brown's Hotel.
It's like a dog
Um,
being on you.
Huh? It was
a
like
dog
that.
being
It was
on you.
like that. Yeah. 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 Did people just not bathe before, do you suppose? Or did they just take that
They just took
Saturday
baths.
afternoon, Saturday evening bath? Everybody took a bath on Saturday evening?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They took baths. A lot of them didn't have indoor plumbing, so they'd have to go and
My dad said they have pictures of him and his brother taking a shower because it was such a big deal.
In what year was this? What year was your dad?
1963, I think he said. He was like 10 or 11 years old at Noah's Ark.
I don't know what
Taking a
Noah's
shower.
Ark is. You mean no?
Wisconsin Dells.
it's a
Noah's
water
Ark was
park
way
in the
before
Wisconsin
1963.
Dells.
What?
It's a water park in the Wisconsin Dells. Noah's Ark.
Oh, yes. Oh,
See,
sure.
he's thinking biblical.
sure it
like
is.
was.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Of course.
isn't there Ark somewhere in Turkey?
So yes, so the garbage man came right in your house if he needed to, and he talked to you. You knew him. And do you know what that garbage man became famous for later?
No.
I don't either. But his face is so familiar because he
Looked
did.
familiar to me too. And also like the quintessential New York accent, you know?
Yeah.
When you hear that, it's like, oh yeah, it's definitely a New Yorker, that guy.
That's why
And
he
it's
snatched
so
him
nice
up
when
for
he
the study.
could. What? Go ahead, Molly. I'm interrupting you.
No, I just said that's why they snatched him up for his study.
Yeah,
Say
the
that
studies.
again.
They snatched him up for the study they were
Oh,
doing.
for the study, yeah, because he had good language. Because the film is really about language.
Slang,
And
actually.
yeah, and but he's also it's in terms of the film, at a nice point, he really introduces a level of reality. I mean, you guys respond to him probably because all the intellectuals are a little too eccentric and a little, you don't run into them every day, and you don't run into a gangster's ma like Barbara Stanwyck every day, but you run into a guy who could be a garbage man every day. In fact, your relatives were garbage men.
Yeah.
But he's not to mislead people who haven't seen the movie, because he's not a central character, although he does
No, he's
become
not.
the central. Because the air changes in the end, in the last scene, when the gangsters are holding the intellectuals at bay, so that everybody, not to get so many spoilers. I mean, who can recite the plot? Who can tell me, William, what's this movie? What's the plot of this movie?
Okay, so the plot of the movie is that there are a group of these eccentric guys who are intellectuals, and they're writing an encyclopedia, and they've been
Right.
working on it for 9 fucking years. Now, when you see that, and then they like 3 more years to go, they're in the S's, and you're like,
Right.
Jesus, with the internet, this is kind of obsolete, really. And who's devoting that much of their life to writing the damn encyclopedia? By the time you get it written, you have to redo it because
Well,
everything's
that's-
changed.
And they make reference to that too, that the guy who's the cartologist or the geographer, has to constantly change movies' borders because Tom's relatives are pushing borders around all over
Might
Europe.
have a lot of room.
What did they say? What was it was something about that we are moving slow, the world's moving faster, or something like that.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
It's moving faster than we can.
that's the problem. The world is moving faster, and we can't catch up, so they can't keep running. And
Oh,
if you really think about
Nerves.
writing,
Oh, Jesus Christ, the whole house was gonna. That woman was so fucking pissed. Like somebody ate the preserves and like, oh, they're all freaked out. And then he's like, I did, like.
she has my favorite line in the movie. If I were the cream in that woman's coffee, I'd curdle.
Right. Yeah.
And
So,
go ahead, Molly.
Molly.
No,
I was just like,
it revolves around. Okay, no, William, you have to keep telling the plot because I want to hear your take on the plot. Is that it?
So,
Because that's just the first 10 minutes.
right. Okay, so then they have this musical scene, where she comes out like a Barbara Stanwyck singing. But she didn't do a bad job.
It's not really
James
her
Roper,
singing.
who is by far, in my opinion, the best drummer who ever lived.
Uh-huh.
Way better than Buddy Rich. So
Yeah.
this guy's out there and he's doing his thing, and then he comes down and he plays the matchsticks, which was weird. And then
That's
she was
cool.
singing and doing her thing. So, and then Gary Cooper gets mesmerized by her.
Right.
And then,
Well, by her language or by her physique
I
or
think
by
both.
her personality?
I think everything, man. I think he's mesmerized. Of course, he wanted her slang and that kind of stuff, but I mean, he felt like quick.
Yeah, he's smitten. They
Yeah.
did a lot of that in the movies in those days. Love at first sight, all that.
But like
Romeo and Juliet. But he doesn't know it because he's an intellectual. He never expected to fall in love. As he says later, when he expresses his feeling for her, he doesn't know he's smitten. He just wants to be around her.
Right.
So he brings her home.
But when he's talking about like chastising her on the split infinitives while wearing that bow tie, I'm like, what a homo. Should be trying to
God. Oh yeah. Okay, now we know where we are.
I'm kidding. When I saw
Yeah,
this,
right.
it was really funny.
You know what cousin Freud said?
What's that?
There are no jokes.
Okay. Well,
When you say something like that and say, "Oh, I'm just kidding,"
You
that's
really
the
meant it.
truth.
well, I mean, come on.
Get
I mean, that's a pretty weak rap. If you're trying to get in her panties and you're splitting infinitives.
well, she was pulling her panties off right in front of him.
So here, let Tom take it from here. I think we should share.
Yeah,
it.
Tom, you finish the get William off the hook since he's
Well, when the garbage
stepped in
man
a
came
deep
in,
pile.
it blew his slang out of the water. So he is going on a research mission. He's talking to newsies. He's going to the jazz club. He's talking to the garbage man. He's talking to kids.
Right.
So he recruits her.
He's doing his work.
Yes. Says tomorrow 9:30. I need you to be here. He doesn't know that Sugar Puss is in with the mafia. Something with the pajamas where she needed to hide out, or the police could link her to the mob boss. So she's
What's the
gotta-
guy's name? Dana Andrews.
His name
I
in
I
there
can't
was
remember
Joe.
Joe Lilac. Joe Lilac.
Joe Lilac.
They
Joe
were
Lilac.
trying to get her, compel her to testify against him, I think was
Right.
the thing.
So she
Right,
goes
because-
over in the middle of the night, basically flaunts it, uses her beauty to hide out there.
Mhm.
And
Right.
everybody's all about it except the old lady. She
I
can
just want to
see
interject
through.
something because what's interesting about her and the way you put it, flaunts her stuff, her beauty, and gets in. She uses her sex appeal
Yep.
to gain entree to them. Whereas in a scene just earlier, the scene that propelled Gary Cooper out the door and found her, he has to use his sex appeal with Miss, what's her name, Tannen,
Yes. Yeah.
the daughter.
The daughter.
He has to flirt awkwardly in his
Yeah.
ingenuous way with her. So it's interesting sort of flip that Wilder does there. I
He
think.
was flirting with her to get an extension on their funding for
Right. So they could write for another. So they could work on this encyclopedia for another 3 years.
But I have to say this about Sugar.
That's another thing, William. Though, just interject. I understand your wonderment at them spending 9 years writing an encyclopedia and still having 3 years to go. But that's something else that's different about then and now. The garbage man could come in your back door to ask you a question because he was your friend as well as part of your community. But also, people took time to do things. The world was moving fast and faster and faster, but people took time to do things to get them right.
They just seemed like they
Okay.
were climbing an uphill battle that would never end at that point.
Well,
And
essentially, when you're talking about knowledge and the accumulation of knowledge and the presentation of knowledge, you are, because it changes constantly.
When
So-
she was able to turn on that switch to get him, that was amazing because just the shit she was saying to him, I'm like, I would have fallen for that shit too. Because then I really saw her as a sexual being because it's like, wow, she turned it on big time.
Yeah.
This is
Stanwyck's really good.
yum.
well. So my take too, when he was originally going out, and I thought it was really interesting too when he first realized that he's been sequestered in this house just reading old books to get his slang terms from, and then he realized what the hell am I doing? I need to get out of this house and go out where the people are and
Where people are, right?
see how they talk.
Yeah, because no
And,
one understood what
and-
Kirchner was talking
And
about.
as he's on his original quest and he's writing in the notebooks and getting all like close to them and like freaking them out, he's writing this stuff down. And I didn't know what half of those terms were. I'm sitting there going, what does that mean? Because they're all outdated now, not really used, and I didn't know what half of them were.
Well,
Somebody
and
probably
I
made
think
up-
language as this technology that William so adores has sped things up. It's also neutralized language. Language is a living thing. It's an organism that grows and changes constantly. The idea of writing a dictionary and finalizing things is a way of stopping it. Try to freeze a wave in the ocean. Language grows, and that's what they're talking about. When he goes out and he realizes that language is a living thing, he needs to go and see how people are talking. It's evolved since then. And I guess it's still evolving, although
Would you
no,
think?
I don't know that it's evolving in quite so interesting ways.
What about emojis? Do you think that's a language?
Yes, I think it has to be included as a language now. Sure.
Well, now you got Wikipedia as well, where anyone can go and add their own entry and
Right. Well, you don't need 9 or 8 intellectuals or 8 little dwarfs is sitting in a house for 9 years to write, because you've got everybody. You and I can go in and write whatever we want, whether it's true or false. And what do we end up with?
Go to
We end
Mark's
up-
Wikipedia later.
What? Say
I
that
said,
again.
note to self, go to Mark's Wikipedia later.
Well, you do and see, and then ask me if any of that stuff is true, because I didn't
I'm
write
going to make some additions to that.
it. Good. Yeah,
Find
that's
the
the
lines
way
that
to-
William added.
but
We
now
all
what?
should do that.
Now when my
I mean, we
son
have
was
to
in,
add that he's the host of the Movies with Mark. We have to add that to your
Judge
Wikipedia.
of Twisted Dreams.
Oh,
Judge of
yeah.
Twisted Dreams Film Festival. We have
Minister.
to update Minister.
a minute now, I'm a member of the clergy. I'm a minister. That's right. And don't forget, I don't think anybody's even put in that I wrote, directed, acted in, and produced Rodeo Radio Theater in the Air in Missoula.
We have to.
Probably not.
We have to
We got to
add that.
fix this. We got to write
We
this
have to
wrong.
fix this, Molly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Our producer's right on it.
Just don't make anything up, all right?
No.
Yeah.
And it is good luck to touch a bride. Molly thought that was weird. When the police officer just reached in and touched the.
He's like, it's good luck to touch a bride. He just reaches in the car and touches her.
Did you not know that?
Bride.
Oh, I thought he said bribe. Just touch the bride. I don't want it. I'm just going to touch it.
No, Molly was like, wait, that cop's just reaching in and like rubbing her leg.
Yeah. It's good
That's
luck.
right.
Rubbing her leg.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good luck.
Well, he
to
was
touch-
rubbing her hand, which was resting on her leg.
Oh, okay.
Literally.
Just thought that was a little like, whoa, that cop's just reaching in. What do you want? It's good luck to touch a bride.
It is. It's
Well,
a
like the
question of
Greek,
where
they
you
spit
touch it.
on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you learned a lot of stuff from this movie. It's an educational movie. But did you like it? Did you laugh?
Some parts.
did
I
you-
really like watching Molly with her big ear to ear Joker grin the whole time she's watching these old movies.
Oh, good,
She's
good.
laughing because she knows those people are dead.
No.
I'm like, how can you smile for 2 straight hours and not have a tired face?
And without acid, without drugs. Yeah.
Yeah. She's just
Well,
sitting
we're
there
not saying
smiling.
without drugs, strictly without drugs.
TV was off.
She was just sitting there smiling.
Oh,
It's just
well,
it's repeated
so
to a
well,
different
good. So
time.
I'm just going to talk to Molly because Molly apparently liked it. Did you like it?
I did too.
Did you? Oh, good.
What about you?
Yeah, am surprised every time I see that movie. I don't know that it's on my top 10 list, but it's certainly way up there as one of my favorite movies because it's just I'm tickled when she turns it on, as you said, and seduces him like on the dime. I buy it. I mean, it's movie language. It happens in movies all the time, but it really is true because Barbara Stanwyck is that good, and Cooper is that good. I mean, Cooper's just great at that sort of befuddled. I buy him as the what's his name, Will something in High Noon, the sheriff married to Grace Kelly, who goes down and all by himself. Have you ever seen High Noon?
I'm sure.
Oh
I
God,
I have not.
oh well. I'll
Put it on the list.
I'm sure I've seen it.
No,
sure I
you
have.
maybe you haven't. You should see it. You should go see it. Fred Zinnemann, Gary Cooper. It's like it's the quintessential the first early. It's a psychological Western, or it's a Western that has a social conscience. But it's a Western. But he's the sheriff. Gary Cooper is a big guy. He's a cowboy. He's tough all the time. So to see him in a bow tie, which apparently makes him a homo, according to some of the people.
No, with the split
my
infinitive.
father, by the way, wore a bow tie his whole life.
Was he correcting women on split infinitives?
Yes. I mean, he certainly corrected me.
He's very homosexual.
Oh,
come on! I'm kidding.
You mean concern with grammar, concern with language makes you a homosexual? Then I'm in.
Well, wearing a bow tie, of course.
You put the
It's
bow
a
tie on.
combination of the two. You do one or the other and still be considered, But
okay.
Put them together, it's a big time homo.
But the implication, I just want to make sure that I'm right. But your implication is that to be a homo or a homosexual is a bad thing.
No, I never said. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Not at all. We all have
Right.
loved ones
Some
that
of my
have
best friends are
family members. So
good. Okay, give him another shovel, Molly. He needs to dig himself out of this hole.
I hope you're not watching.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so where are we? So where are we? Where are we in this?
Well, Tom, you were taking over and talking about the plot.
Yes, and Tom, I love it when I'm going to do this every time. I'm going to have you do bits and pieces of the plot because the difference in your personalities and who you are shows up. Because Tom watches. He may be spending all of his time watching Molly grin, as would I, but he also gets detail out of the movie that William doesn't get. William gets a lot of attitude and stuff like that out of the movie, but you were adding a lot of detail when you talked about who he went out to talk to. Keep going with the plot, Tom.
Okay, so
I need to hear more.
House. She's been staying there for 4 days. She gets a call from Daddy and says, we're not ready yet.
And Daddy is, for the audience, the people who haven't seen it, Daddy is Joe Lilac, the gangster who sort of feels like he owns her. And he wants to marry her so that she can't testify against him.
Yep.
Correct?
At one point, Gary Cooper's character, or actually the old battle axe in the house, decided that she is gone.
Right.
So she has to go nuclear option and basically turn this guy on so bad that he proposes to her right after she got her huge rock from the mob boss. So now she's in a pickle that she's.
So your feeling, your take on it is that she does that intentionally. I mean, I agree that she seduces him, gets him to like her, to get him to go easy on her. But you think she has in mind that he'll ask her to marry him?
Yeah.
I think it went so far that she was getting so desperate to not get kicked out of the house that she just went so over the top that this guy took it as we're now in a relationship.
I don't
were-
think she expected that because she was shocked when he came up
Yeah,
with the
she
ring the
looked
next day.
surprised.
Like she just
That little
kissed
tiny
him.
ring.
She
Yeah.
kissed him to try to get him to keep her because that's when it was the maid or her, was going to go and he was kicking
Right.
her out. And so
Crabapple
she taught him
Annie, as they call it.
yum.
Yep.
Which was her getting on a pile of books and kissing him.
Right.
She didn't, I don't think, account for the fact that he hadn't really been out in the world, hadn't really experienced
After
any
first
kind of
base
attention like
is a
that.
ring on the finger, you know.
That's it,
She
man.
kissed me, she loves me, I'm going to propose to her.
Otherwise,
That's
she's
his
Right. That's how it used to work. It still does work that way for some people.
Yeah.
I mean, there are actually some people who think that, if you kiss someone, then it's a commitment in a way. Do you know why kissing started anthropologically? Because you were looking for a mate, and kissing was a good way to taste your mate, to see if he were healthy enough to breed with.
Huh.
That's what some anthropologists believe. That's how kissing evolved.
Okay.
Okay.
No,
How
I
did-
get it.
What?
I get it. I get it because I've been in relationships with girls where I've kissed and they have a certain kind of taste to them.
Yeah.
And
It attracted me.
it attracted you, okay? And
Yeah.
I'm sure you've probably been with enough women that some of them repelled you, right?
I would never say repelled about a woman. I'm sorry. I'm a gentleman. I would never say that. And you're trying to sucker me into something like that. I've never been repulsed by a woman. How dare you, sir?
This is great.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. I'm not falling for that one.
So his answer is actually yes.
You should be petting the cat while you're asking these questions.
All right.
Go ahead, Molly. Finish what you were saying.
Okay. Yeah, Molly, now why don't you pick up the thread of the plot and finish telling the plot?
From the yum yum.
Well, okay.
The yum yums, that's right. Is that what they call the kisses? The yum yums. Yes.
She wanted to teach him what yum yum was.
That's right. That's
Gave him
right.
yum, then she gave him yum.
Yeah.
I really love that, the innocence about that, and but it's innocence juxtaposed against a really nice kind of sensuality and sexuality, a sexuality that doesn't have to do with whips and chains and handcuffing somebody to the bed, or the kind of, which is the kind of sexuality that the film we did 2 weeks ago, I Care a Lot, was all about. So anyway, I'm really attracted to that. I love those scenes where she stacks up, puts one book down, it's not high enough, puts two more books out so she's tall enough to stand on it and show him the yum yum.
Every time they kiss, she's gonna have to get on a stack of books. So I want to go back because one of the
Yeah.
No, let me hold on before you start. Molly, in a serious, she was filling out one of those internet quizzes or whatever, and she looks at me and says, "I'm taller than you, right? I'm tall." She thought she was taller than me for 11 years. I'm a whole head taller than her.
Molly,
Really?
If you're looking up at him,
I mean, in my mind, I'm taller, I guess.
Molly's like,
She
I
never
have a
got
longer head.
He comes up to me and just rests his chin on the top of my head, and he was like, "Really? Who's taller?"
But he was standing on a stack of books.
When you put it that way,
but you always feel taller than him. That's interesting.
I guess.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I'm like 11 years, and I'm a head taller than you.
That's
See,
funny.
that's how I treat women, right there.
By putting
Yeah.
your
You
chin
put them on a pedestal then.
Put them on a pedestal. She thinks she's
she
taller than me.
thinks she's there you go.
I don't think that's where they want to be.
Oh. So part of go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You have to pick up the plot now.
Well, I was gonna say part of the charm for me. So these men are so. I mean, this woman is such a foreign entity to
Yeah.
them, she comes in and they're all like, peeking around the railing and like looking and going, what's going on?
They're
What's
like 4-year-old boys or 5-year-old
And
boys. Yeah.
it really was like Snow White and the 8 dwarfs, and that's
Right.
actually referenced in there at some point. But
Yeah.
they're so just kind of like innocent, and because they're just such intellectuals, and they didn't, and
Except the one guy got laid.
Yeah.
he was a widower. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was the only one that had
That
experience.
that's such a horrible way to talk about Audley, Professor Audley's wife,
One guy
Genevieve.
got laid.
and the way he talks about it, he got laid. Right.
Yeah.
Laid.
So I thought it was.
Oh, Tom.
I thought
Tom's a
it.
deep thinker.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, honest, yeah.
I think, Molly, you might actually be taller than Tom.
Ooh. Put them back to back.
I'll take it.
I think one of the just is so cute watching the interaction between her and these men, because they were getting so excited to to get up and like just interact with her, and they had her like teaching them how to dance, and
Right. Yeah.
she's doing like a line dance with them, and but
The
that's
music, yeah.
that's what made the maids so angry, is because they were spending so much time doing this. I guess she would say nonsense. She was
Right. They were having fun.
where before they were just focused on writing their sections of this encyclopedia, and that's what they did. They were just down to business. At the beginning, the very opening scene, they're walking around the park.
Right.
It's all of them walking around the park. Gary Cooper's character looks at his watch. They were going to do another lap, and he's like, "Oh, actually, we better, look what time it is. We don't have time for another lap around the park. We got to get back to work, And then
Right.
they introduce this woman, and all of a sudden, they're dancing around,
Writing mathematic equations on the carpet
Yeah,
so
they
they
had-
can figure out the dance moves.
They had the moves like
That's
you
right.
walk on the carpet, and they're dancing and having just a great time, and it brought such a sense of like just life. It brought like a breath of fresh air into the house, and it was just cute watching their transformation.
Yeah.
The old
She
lady
was
didn't
like,
pack her bags.
No,
what?
Oh,
Say
the
that
old
again,
lady
Tom.
didn't pack her bags.
she said it's you or me, and then Gary Cooper comes out of the room, and she's like, "Wow,
Right.
is she ready? Is it's me or her?" And he goes, "It's you."
Pack your
You know,
bags.
yeah.
That's
Like-
right. That's right. With his hair all tousled after she's done the yum
Mouthful
yum
of
with him
yum-yum.
He's
again.
all Twitter pated.
Oh, Molly.
Does he?
I know.
Do they use that word, Twitter pated?
No, I just like
Okay.
that word.
No, it's a great word. I love it too. Billy Wilder would have loved it and used it.
Well, you know
What
what
is-
word I liked? A smackaroo. A smackaroo is $1, pal.
I thought a smackaroo was a big kiss on the cheek.
No, it's $1.
It's-
According to
it's
the
$1.
garbage man.
Yeah,
Oh,
probably.
that's right.
Yeah. What's a smackaroo?
Um,
Dough.
so go on. Let's go on with the plot just to finish and do spoilers all over the place.
So there's gonna be lots of spoilers. So she's on the phone with Daddy, and
Right.
Gary Cooper's character gets it in his head that he should really ask her dad's hand in marriage. And
Yeah, that's
thinking
the
that it's
honorable thing
actually
to
her
do.
dad. So he gets on the phone with him, and then they realize that this is their out. They were looking for a way to get her to him so that they could marry.
Right.
And then he's like, "Well, you really need to just go all in with this and tell him you're marrying him, and this is where you have to go to get married." And so all of the men.
Well, yeah. Joe Lilac, Daddy, poses as her father, and my wife does this whole story about how her mother is an invalid and can't travel, and she would love to see you, so come out here to New Jersey.
He was
and get
scamming for a
married.
ride.
Well, but they thought they were going to the wedding. They went all
Yeah,
dressed up in their
exactly.
top hats and their tuxes, and they piled all 8 men and the woman into a clown car. And
Right.
the one guy that was driving had a license that should have been renewed 20 times since it expired.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you say? He drove Teddy Roosevelt or
Yeah,
something?
I wrote-
Yeah, the last time he drove, and he referred to my driving as bully.
And as he says that, he gets into an accident.
That's right. He drives into a road sign. First, he gets stopped by the cop. Why do they? Oh, there's a roadblock checking to see if Joe Lilac and or this woman, Sugarpuss, are trying to leave New York because the cops want her. And that's when he pats her knee.
Yep.
Right. And then he runs into it. Yeah. Then he runs into a sign when, talking about Teddy Roosevelt and his good driving. Okay, good. Very good, Molly. I see you guys really watch these movies. I'm so happy. And remember them too. So they go on and they arrive at they don't go to jail, but they have to stop in this little town. So they have to call Joe Lilac and say, we can't be there today for the wedding. We'll be there tomorrow, because they have to stay overnight in this inn. And she goes to her room, which is her little bungalow, which is room number 9. But conveniently for the movies, when they close the door, when he says goodnight to her, because he still thinks the number drops around and it's number 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bachelors, all the men, and especially Professor Audley, give Gary Cooper a talk about what being married is like and what you have to do and say to your spouse.
Yeah.
And so he goes to talk. Oh, he wants to follow up with that talk with Professor Audley, and he's told to go to room 6, or bungalow 6, but he ends up in her room and in the dark because he doesn't want to see her in the dark. He doesn't want to express himself. He wants to text his love rather than say it on bended knee in front of her. He expresses why he loves her, but thinks he's talking to Audley, and that's when she really, I don't think she's completely fallen for him. Completely, she's enamored of him and appreciates the innocence and the childlike innocence and the sincerity and the honesty of his feeling.
Right.
But
that's the moment.
It's in the dark, and that great shot of him in the dark talking, and then her almost like a caged animal, the delighting in it. You just see her eyes, and she's really in the dark, and the eyes listening to him, and you can see. And Stanwyck is just so good. I mean, she's just so. I'm always amazed by Barbara Stanwyck because I don't really love the way she looks. There's a brassiness to her, a chilliness to her that I don't really like. But boy, can she turn it around! And there's a lot of heart there. I was right. Oh, I think I wrote for this little blurb about this that Barbara Stanwyck sometimes seems a little cold around the heart, which was a phrase that I used about that woman who plays whatever her name is in the movie we did last time. I Care a Lot. But the difference is that Stanwyck is cold, can be cold around the heart if she needs to be. But boy, her heart is just wide open and ready for business if it needs to be. I don't know. She's great. But anyway, that's when and Joe Lilac shows up while he's talking to her, and he's there, and then it all gets very funny. Isn't it? Don't you think it's hysterical? While the gangsters, who are the 2 thugs that Joe Lilac sends along to take care of her and then to intimidate? What are their names? Do you remember?
Like Spaghetti or
Asthma and Pastrami.
And Pastrami.
Asthma was the other one?
Yeah.
Asthma was the other one. Right.
I knew pastrami was one.
Right. It's Joe, but in the credits, it's like Joe Pastrami something, and the other guy's his first name is just Asthma. His parents named him Asthma.
Well, that's unfortunate. He was a bigger guy too.
I know.
That's awesome.
But that whole long, wonderful scene where they're holding Asthma and Pastrami are holding the intellectuals, the professors, at bay at machine gun point, and they get out and they communicate with each other about whose sword? Diogenes' sword? Somebody's sword.
Damocles.
Damocles, the sword of Damocles. That's right.
Sword of Damocles.
Okay.
About how to subdue these 2 gun-wielding gangsters.
Yeah, they're using code, intellectual code.
Yeah,
that's right. We'll talk about the sword of Damocles.
in the middle of all this, the garbage man comes in with more questions.
That's right.
Well, the thing to me too, at one point, to take out the asthma, 'cause
Right.
they had a plan for the one guy, but they referred to a line, a specific line and page in a
Right.
book.
That's
They
right.
were like, get this book, this line, this page, and he knew exactly what the line was. And the line
Right.
said something about he who sits the highest topples the easiest.
Right.
Yes,
So
topples the
he was
easiest.
like,
He
oh,
was
this
sits,
one,
yeah, I can't,
knock him
yeah.
over.
That's right. Just pull the rug out from under his chair. and sit
Right.
down.
Well, he had gotten up and they were trying to get him to sit back down so
Yeah.
he could see. Wait, what did he want to see? Something from that angle.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Got up to talk.
Yeah, I can't
They
remember
were
what
like,
it
"You need
was.
to sit back
They
down."
get Dan, the great and immaculate Dan Duryea, to sit back down because he's the one sitting under the sword of Damocles,
Right.
Mhm.
and Asthma is on the stool on the high thing, and they have to figure out. But it's so brilliant that the way they structure this, and they moved, and Hawks, because he's the director he is, moves through it and cuts it together and puts it together so fluidly and so nicely that you buy it. It's farce, but
Mhm.
with farce, you really have to commit to farce, and those guys are so committed, and it's an anyway. And the garbage man comes in and asks more questions and gets caught up in it and helps them subdue. We need a little of that street reality in there.
Yeah.
And everything ends happily ever after.
Well, they
It's,
have to go.
It is,
now
and
save
it
the
is. There are
bride.
references.
She sent the wrong ring, letting him know that.
Oh,
she
that's
loved
right.
him.
That's right. And he has. That's right. She sends the ring back to him, but she sends Joe Lilac's big, gargantuan $1 million ring,
Yep.
and he had just gotten his ring cost $39.85.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he did buy the
He
expensive
gave him
one.
40 though, and let him keep the
He let him
change.
keep the change.
That let
Yeah.
him keep the change. And the look
And
on
the
the
look he gave him after he told him keep the change.
There was still a
I
real
know.
funny part that I don't know if you guys caught it, but on the way over, when the old guys were getting all pumped up, he's reading like Pugilism Weekly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Learning how to fight.
Yeah.
He got his ass whooped.
And then he got his ass whooped. Then he learned you can't learn how to fight from a book.
Yeah, and then he just started tearing
He's like
into
doing
him.
the whole wind up thing.
He
Like,
does a huge wind up and gives the uppercut. And
like
knocks
he's
him-
in it like a
Well, he
it's so-
reads it, and the page says the knockout. That's
right.
And the guy
Right.
pops him right in the face.
right.
I used that stance in a play with John Lithgow called Salt Lake City Skyline, where I had to fight Joe Hill. I was his lawyer, but he insulted me, and I folded my coat up very carefully and assumed that stance, and I took it right straight from Ball of Fire. I stole from the best. And but Molly's right. He gets the crap knocked out of himself by Joe Lilac when he does this. So he goes back into that kid's wind up and rah, 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 boom, and another guy. And Hawks uses it. Then he sort of flailingly jumps on top of him. It's not beautiful. It's not athletic.
Yeah, that
it's not
reminded me of the Christmas Carol when Ralphie finally beats up
yeah.
his.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
He's
It's
just
so
straddling
great.
him going,
Yep. You learn.
We're
Throw the
doing what
book
we
away,
learned
I'm
from TV. Right.
He did throw the book away. Yeah.
And then how does it end? What's the final scene, final moment?
A kiss, right?
It is. I think they're back in the
no,
Yum Yum.
the whole group, they give him like and they turn around and leave. What was that? What was that for?
That was the noise that she kept making at the
Oh,
beginning. That was
okay.
her, like,
All right.
she was making that noise all the time. Like, when she was going in, and it was like her, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was her.
But it
Yeah,
keeps
they
it keeps
kinda
getting
walked
it gets me every minute all the way down the line. Now it feels to me, just listening to it, that Molly got it, but it feels to me like you guys didn't get it, or you got it and didn't want to be gotten, or something. I don't know. But you liked it,
Yeah.
William and Tom.
Yeah, I liked it.
I think Tom got it too.
Yeah.
What are we missing?
I don't know. You don't seem to be happy.
Oh, I got a lot of problems, Mark.
Well, let's talk about them. What are your problems, Tom?
Oh man, we won't even get into it. We're good.
You
All
enjoyed
right,
it
then.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
You did good.
I didn't think
Would you watch
was,
it again? Did you watch it a second time?
No,
Maybe that bears watching again.
we watched this, then we watched Detective Pikachu.
We did.
You
Since
watched
I
the
was-
what?
Then we watched Detective Pikachu. I was good. I got my cartoon movie.
You were good. So Molly is taller than you.
Yeah.
Molly's mom.
Yep.
Did
I
you
was
eat your
good. I sat through the
vegetables?
whole movie, and
You got
then
your treat afterwards.
I
I got Detective Pikachu.
I also enjoyed Detective Pikachu. It was cute.
Good.
Never. I will never watch that shit. What is it for a kid?
No.
Nah, it was good. It was- Have Ryan Reynolds, man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ryan Reynolds was Pikachu. Great.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
kidding. Did you do that thing on your phone where you went around and captured? Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
For quite a while. Yeah. With those people.
Good. I never
And then they got
understood that.
robbed in the graveyard.
You know, the
Oh.
cadaver lab at UWM always had ghost Pokemon in it. I found it very weird.
Really?
Yeah.
Why were you in the cadaver lab at UWM?
He
Oh,
likes
you were
dead things.
I was a med student.
You were a med student.
Yeah.
What happened to that?
It's a long story. I kind of
Well-
got put in and didn't make pace and then got kicked off of government loans. So I'd have to take
Oh.
out private loans on top of it. And it was just too much money.
You're still paying them back?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How far into the degree are you?
I can go back anytime. I'm still
You
an
got-
SPT.
He got accepted into the doctorate program. He graduated summa cum laude with his degree in
Right.
neuropsychology.
Yep.
Do you think you'll go back?
Not unless I run into a bunch of money.
What are you doing about that? Are you actively looking for money?
Yeah, every time I clean the couches, we're looking for money.
You sit out on the street corner with your banjo and
Yeah.
stare at it?
We do. We're getting by.
Well, yeah. Getting by is one thing, but
More things, they live in a haunted house,
that's
Yeah, beautiful 3-bedroom house. We got
which
double
is
lot.
haunted.
It's haunted
Who
as
does?
hell.
who does? William does?
No,
No,
we do.
they live in a haunted house.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Yes.
Mhm.
Who's the spirit? Have you met
Lady-
her or him?
Isn't there a girl?
There's a
Wait.
couple. There's a kid.
It's the
Yeah?
lady in white I don't like.
Yeah.
Don't mess with her.
And you've seen them, heard them, just felt them.
Twice we seen him.
Seen them, no kidding.
Pin Molly to the floor.
No kidding, really.
Could not pull her off the ground. It was like she was
No kidding.
magnetized to the floor, and I can throw Molly around like a rag doll.
So there are some parts of the country where you're expected to do that.
Hold off.
Throw her around like a rag doll and then go to the bar and brag about it. Okay, good.
Get a few more drinks, go back, throw her around some more.
Oh,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. Where are we, in West Virginia or something?
Well, sometimes Molly will be like, "Oh, let's go to bed," and then I'll like body slam her, like, "Boom! Now you're in bed." You know?
Yeah.
You watch Worldwide Wrestling.
Hulk Hogan.
He's a big Hulk Hogan fan.
Well, I hope you finish your degree because I think it's a good thing to do. It seemed, I mean, obviously,
I have a neuropsych degree. I just don't have the doctorate yet.
right. So what does a neuropsych degree mean? What can you do? Can you open a neuropsych shop?
Neurocycle shop.
That's right.
You
I
can
could
do
probably
lots of
go
stuff
get
with-
anything in HR right now. Could you imagine me as an HR
Oh
guy?
no.
Yes, you'd be
No.
awesome. I
Yeah.
have an HR person right now that's very relatable and
know.
cool, and it's great. I think those are they're the easiest to talk to.
You think
And
Tom is
that's
cool?
who should be running
Right.
doing HR.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that you'd be perfect for it.
You would be. Don't listen to William.
I don't think Tom's very cool.
Wow.
I can't relate to him either. Look, man, get the doctorate. Maybe we can talk.
Okay.
Anyway, we went really off topic.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, we should start. We should give our grade.
Oh, we should. Yeah, we are. Because we're. Oh, wow! Look at where we are. All right, so we're going to give our ratings.
I'm
Okay.
gonna go.
Go.
You go.
I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5.
Good.
Liked the movie, kept me going. I expected it to be a little more funny throughout.
A little
because
more fun throughout.
funny.
Funny, right? All right.
Because we just got done watching Arsenical Lace, and that
Right.
had me laughing the entire time. So I'm kind of comparing it to what we did.
Right.
And when I read the reviews that this was like one of the greatest comedies of all time, I just don't think it fit there to what I've seen already. So I gotta drop it down a little bit.
Right. Okay. Okay. I understand that.
Well, I guess we'll let Molly go last since she got it.
Yeah, I didn't.
I was going to give it a 4, but since I didn't get it according to him, I'm going to drop it down to a 3.5.
Oh no!
I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you.
Yeah,
why. It's like
I wanna
I'm
know
sitting
why.
there and I'm looking at these guys devoting so much of their life to a fucking. I know it's 1941, but like everything's right there on the internet. I couldn't relate to that part of it. Like
Oh, yes.
Jesus. And then
We're talking about. You're
I
talking
think
about
he
your.
fell in love way too quickly, like bing, like that. She played him like a banjo, and then all of a sudden she falls in love. It just, only in the movies. Just doesn't.
Well,
seem
it is a movie, William.
Yeah, we're watching movie.
I understand that it's not very realistic,
Okay.
and the gangsters. And then even though, but I did love the trash man. I could just. Was he in anything else? The guy that played the
Oh, yeah.
garbage man. Because
The guy who played who?
Oh, and then they also had, I forgot to mention, Clarence. I can't get
froze.
that out of my head. That's the guy from It's a Wonderful Life, one of the old professors. It's Clarence.
Okay.
Did you recognize him?
No.
I think you're wrong,
Oh, maybe
But-
I am then.
but you're right. Because the guy that you think is Clarence is in so many movies, so many, and doing that character. He does a thing with his where he gets flustered. Yeah, but that's not the same actor that played Clarence.
It's not? Okay.
I don't think so. Does somebody have access
Do
to?
you have access? Can you see the guy? Do you remember his name?
Bum, 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 bum.
If you say it, I'll probably know it.
No, I mean I don't.
We'll show his picture.
If I could get it on my screen without not seeing you guys, I would. If somebody can pull it up.
I have pictures, but it just
Can I
says
see-
Professor.
Could you just flip it around so I can see?
I think he's. Oscar Homolka is the guy who's driving. Is that Oscar Homolka? That's his name. Yeah, and there we go. Yeah, Homolka. It's CZ. It's SZ Sakal. It's this
Okay.
second guy.
No, isn't it? Hold on.
He's not. He didn't play Clarence. But do you see Clarence in there? Henry Travers. These guys are all great character actors.
Henry.
That's not him? Yeah.
We'll click on it.
That's not Clarence? Go and see.
Oh my God.
It's a Wonderful Life.
There you go.
Okay, you're right. You're right. I stand
You
completely
stand
corrected.
corrected, good sir. That's Clarence.
am.
It's a
Very
Wonderful
good.
Life.
Good eye. And which
All right.
professor was he? You're right. Okay, you're absolutely right. I don't
Yeah, that-
remember him as clearly as I do some of the other professors. Very good.
Okay. Good.
Very good.
'Cause
Very
and
good.
I'm just every time I see him, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's Clarence.
Yeah,
It was Clarence.
it was. You're right. I mean, yeah, like I say, all the great and William, if you were in Hollywood then, you would have been working constantly. You would have been one of these guys.
Because of the accent.
Oh, because the accent, the physique, the whole sense of humor.
I was born too late.
You
Way to
were.
go, man.
Yeah, has anybody ever told you that? And look, it's Saturday. You're wearing a sports jacket.
It's looking Dapper.
Very dapper. Svelte.
Did he have a bow tie on before he came in? Before he
I've-
sat down?
No, I've worn him.
He
like,
corrected my grammar and I ripped it off of him.
I did hear you say twice. I seen it. I seen him twice.
Well, that's his parents' influence on him.
I seen him.
I've seen him.
I've seen him.
You need a Gary Cooper in your life to correct your grammar.
You've heard how his
Splitting
parents.
infinitives.
You've heard how his parents talk. It's a.
They're wonderful. Well, I haven't talked to your dad, but your mom's
He's
awesome.
coming in.
Yeah, we're gonna have your dad in for the Father's Day show.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, cool. Good.
He's pretty much Captain Caveman, and my ma is the lady from Fargo. That's
Which lady from Fargo? The pregnant one?
Any of the ladies from Fargo.
any of the ladies.
Oh
from-
yeah,
my
yeah.
mom.
The sheriff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, William, are you done with your critique?
Yes, I am.
All right, Molly.
I'd give it a 4 as well. I think.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
It was funny. Like Tom said, it had me grinning the whole time. It had a lot of just cute little funny bits, but yeah.
But didn't put it over the top. Didn't get it all the way to a 5. Okay, I understand that.
You know, like Tom was saying, compared to some of the other stuff we
Yeah.
watched, and I just, for me, I feel like a 5 has to be something that's like,
Outstanding. Yeah.
and this is good. It's a good movie. I'm glad we watched it. It entertained me. It had me laughing. I love watching some of these old movies, and part of the charm to me is just seeing, because that's the way people were. That's the way that it was, and times have changed so much, and it's just
Yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah. No, they are historic. I mean, if you look at them that way, and we should, they're historical documents. They give us something, an idea of where we've been, what we've been like. Not necessarily that Ball of Fire is a documentary about what gangster life was like in the 40s or what intellectual life was like in the 40s, but it does give you an idea. As Hamlet says, hold the mirror up to nature. The art of the job of the person who's in the theater is to hold the mirror up to nature. So the movies do reflect back to us something about what the world was like in 1941.
Do you know, was it based anywhere in fact, like of, you know,
Is it based on a true story?
or just not? No. I didn't mean based on a true story, but I'm just, you know, at one point there was a group of guys that sat and made and wrote the, you know,
Somebody had to write an encyclopedia. I'm sure that details like that, spending 9 years writing an encyclopedia, a bunch of people, was not inaccurate. I mean, those guys, you have to remember, if you were thinking of it in reality, during those 9 years, those guys also went back to their universities and taught for part of the year, and then would get together. I'm sure. I imagine they worked their schedule out that way.
I would hope
But for the
so.
sake of the movie, they want to think of them in that house on East 42nd Street, or no,
Yeah,
East
getting castrated
70th.
for eating preserves in the middle of the night.
Jesus, I know. Oh my God.
Getting castrated for eating preserves.
Well, then the thing is, it's like after he fessed up, she was all right. You know?
and there's
Have you
another-
ever read, Tom? Have you ever read Strindberg plays? Any Strindberg plays?
No,
There's a cook, a housekeeper in several of his plays who seems to always, in my imagination, but I think it's true, has blood on her apron, and she's this sort of figure like you have placed Crabapple Annie, or the housekeeper for these guys, in the position of castrating the men for eating jam, eating all the jam.
she was rather upset about it.
What?
I said she was rather upset about it.
She really
I
was.
Part
know
two
she
to me
was.
that I just remembered that they did was when the woman, Sugar Puss,
Sugar
comes
Puss.
into the picture, and she comes in like late at night, and the guys were all, oh, you know, there's only, you know, there's no one from outside or no women that have ever stayed here. Even the housekeeper goes home at 7:00. You know, can't have, you know, a woman staying here and
Can't have a woman staying overnight. My goodness, in the
Yeah.
same building?
so the
Sugar
housekeeper
Bush.
comes.
Sugar Bush.
Yeah.
She comes in the morning, makes them breakfast, cleans the house all day, goes home at 7, comes back again, does it again.
And come back. And she,
visions when she gets there.
Yep. What the
God
hell
damn
is
it!
on?
Who ate those damn strawberry preserves? Nothing's gonna happen in this house until we get to the bottom.
She
of
might
it.
have been saving them for a special dessert. You never know. She had plans.
That's right.
And
And it is, she's taller than everybody else in the room, except for Gary Cooper.
It's like a multiple doctorate, you know, like writing an encyclopedia and just getting his ass ringing out because he woke up with the
The
munchies.
poor professor, he must have been smoking a little herb
Yep.
at the munchies, had some strawberry
Yeah,
preserves.
right.
I picture him only eating the preserves too, not on toast.
With a spoon. Just right out of the-
Just pour it.
Well, I'll give it. So you give it a 4. Well, I'll give it. It's not. Ratings are hard for me because it implies comparison, like
Right.
Molly said, compared to some of the other ones we watched. It's not. There aren't enough numbers to rate them all. I mean, if everyone has to have its own number, so.
Yeah.
I tend to give it a 5 just because I think it's a great movie. I don't think it's as perfect a movie as Bringing Up Baby. I don't think it's as much door-to-door fun as Arsenic and Old Lace. I don't think it's quite the miracle of young love coming late in life as Theodora Goes Wild, but it's damn funny. It's really
Oh,
good.
I think I
And
got an analogy for you. It's a 350-yard home run down the line instead of the 450-yard home run down center field. Still a home run.
All right. It's still a home run. Okay, that's good. I'll take that. That's good. Yeah. So, and a home run gets, well, you only get 4 runs if it's a grand slam, but I give it a 5. I give it a 5 because that's where it is. I think it should be seen. People should see it, not because it's going to make them richer, but it might make them grin more. And grinning is good for the skin. It's good for the face. Good for the facial muscles. Good for the soul.
Molly
Molly
grinned
grinned for 2 hours.
2 straight hours.
Yeah.
She's grinning now. Look, she can't stop.
You
She's
know,
a grinner.
She loves it. She loves those old
So
movies.
we've come up with a name for them as a couple. From now on, they're tamale.
Hot tamale.
They're hot tamale.
You are hot tamale, especially when you're throwing around like a rag doll, huh?
Yeah. Toss her around.
Hot tamale. All right,
It's
I like
Tom and Molly combined. Tamale.
it. I got it. Thank you, William.
You got it, Will. I think you got
Thanks
it.
for the breakdown.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
because he
Wow.
just kept
It
talking
went
to
right over my head
Molly,
until William
and
cleared
he
it up.
wasn't including Tom in this.
So what are we watching next week, Mark?
Oh boy. Let's I want Molly to choose.
Okay.
I don't think she's ever chosen a movie for us. And it can be anything, Molly. It can be Detective Pikachu if you like.
Oh, please no. Yeah. Oh God, please. Please.
Uh,
Are you
it
guys?
it can be Daredevil if you're a real Ryan Reynolds fan.
I love
That was Ben Affleck. This
It
Daredevil.
was Affleck. Yeah.
No, who is it's
No, Deadpool.
Deadpool, yeah.
Deadpool.
Deadpool. I love.
You
They're
love
s-
Deadpool. My son loves
They're
Deadpool
so
too.
funny.
It is
Anyhow,
funny. It's just so nihilistic. I get depressed.
You guys enjoy the older films?
I
Oh,
want to live back in the
Don't
old
worry
days
about us.
when the garbage man came into your house and asked you questions about the trivia
Yeah.
thing and the because everybody reads that stuff. That's where I want to live. I was born too late too.
So I feel like I may have talked this up enough because I know I mentioned it a lot, and Mark has actually just mentioned it in his synopsis of the movie. But I think it'd be fun to have you guys all watch Bringing Up Baby.
Oh, great.
I'm down with that. I knew you were going to say that because I was thinking about that when y'all were talking about it. I'm like, that'd be a good movie to watch.
I've mentioned it. It's always just been, it's a fun film. And
Now, what is Baby again?
Baby is it's a big cat. I
A
don't.
big cat.
They
Like a
call it a
vampire or
leopard.
Leopard.
They call it a leopard, and according to my son, who's the world's foremost authority on these things, in his mind and in mine too, it is a leopard, but it comes from South America, and there are no leopards in South America. There are only jaguars in South America.
But it's got
So
Cary Grant in it,
right,
and Katharine Hepburn.
Katharine
nice.
Hepburn,
And
and
Cary Grant
a
plays
wonderful who's the wonderful actor who plays Uncle, the big game hunter uncle.
Oh gosh.
I can't remember. He's Charlie Ruggles, I think his name
Charlie
is.
Ruggles.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
It's a great cast. And again, it's Howard Hawks
Oh,
directing.
is it?
Yep. And I think it's I.A.L. Diamond wrote the script. I can't remember who wrote the
And
script.
Cary Grant again plays just a real just
Yeah.
character in this one.
Well, he's the guy in the
paleontologist, right?
He's what?
A paleontologist.
Paleontologist, exactly. And I think at some point, William, prepare yourself for this. I think he wears a bow tie. So he might be.
Haven't we all at some point or another? If you go into a prom, you got a tuxedo. You're in a wedding. You wear.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, haven't we all at some time or other been light in the loafers, as they used to say?
Yeah.
Or a friend of
we're not gonna
Dorothy's.
discuss any of that.
Oh, great. I love Bringing Up Baby. And it means I can watch it again. It's a good excuse to watch it again.
All right.
This one was actually released before the movie we just watched. It was 1938.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to be in black and white, huh?
Oh yeah, it's black and white. I'm sorry.
Kids
It's
today.
weird, though.
I wonder if I can find a colorized version.
No.
Has Tom? Probably Ted Turner. He colorized a
Turner.
lot of movies, and for that he'll roast in hell. But among other things, but for that in particular. Tom, have you ever seen Bringing Up Baby?
I have not, but Molly's already grinning, so it's going to be a good one.
I'm just afraid that if they don't enjoy it as much, they're gonna be like, "Oh man, you built this one up so much. You said it was so good, and I hated it."
Yep.
Well, if they come away from Bringing Up Baby not liking it, then I think we need to fire them.
Maybe we won't get it because we're a couple of Neanderthals.
Well, it's not like your hairline is low. I mean, Tom may be a Neanderthal, but William, you've got the wrong hairline for a Neanderthal.
Well, not according to my DNA.
Oh, really? Are you Neanderthalic?
You did not.
I did.
No kidding.
A lot of Neanderthals.
Really?
Yep.
No way.
My son even more. I said, "You're getting that from your mom because you have more than me."
I can tell you got quite the brow ridge. I can take a punch
That's
to
where
the
those
forehead.
beady eyes come from.
That's where the beady eyes come from.
That's it. That must be it. All right, good. Bringing Up Baby, 2 weeks from today.
Okay.
We'll see you then.